everybody, and welcome to Steve Allen Field here at beautiful Jarrabeck Park in Scripps Ranch, California. I'm Scott Hall with George Langevin Video Productions, and we are here at the game of all games, folks. This is what it all comes down to. All the marbles are on the table here at the Majors World Series Championship game. Actually at bat first, and the Diamondbacks in the field managed by Ken Moser. Leading off the A's this inning is Evan Crislow, followed by Matt Maguda and Evan's brother, Darren Crislow. Pitching today for the Diamondbacks is Ryan Haley. Haley, a right-hander with a nice smooth motion, quick arm action. He has a pretty good fastball. Missed right there, just a little bit low and outside, just off the plate. So Evan Crislow ahead in the count here. Top half of the first inning. Once again, Haley misses high with a ball. Crislow way ahead of the count here, looking for a hitter's pitch. Haley found an inside corner. Catcher did a nice job of framing that pitch. Evan Crislow doing the thing that most leadoff hitters do, and that's taking a couple pitches. And there's a line shot in the gap between right and center. The ball's off the wall. Crislow heading for second. The Diamondbacks hit their cutoff man, and Crislow starts off the game with a stand-up double. Crislow crush-load that ball to the wall. Now hitting Matt Maguda. Maguda, the number 2 hitter, and a good reason for that is probably his height. He has a small strike zone as he gets into the box. Makes it very difficult for a pitcher to throw strikes. So Crislow's on second. Maguda at the plate. Haley throws strike 1, gets ahead of the hitters. It's so important for the pitcher to get ahead of the hitters. Once they can establish that fastball or establish that lead with that first pitch, makes it so much easier on the pitcher for the rest of the hitters and the rest of that at-bat. A good example is right there as Maguda swung through strike 2. Now Haley's way ahead in the count, 0-2. Just off the side of the mitt, Crislow decided wisely not to go to third base as there's a very short backstop behind the catcher. That doesn't leave a whole lot of room for the runners advancing. We'll see how that plays out in the remainder of the game. Maguda with a little tap towards third makes a nice play over to first for a 5-3 out. Evan Crislow makes his way over to third base. So 1 duck on the pond still and 1 out. Darren Crislow now enters the batter's box. So Crislow now has an option here. He can hit the ball to the outfield and sacrifice fly, or he can go to the right side of the infield. Either way, he chooses the right side of the infield. That'll score a run. As he sacrifices himself for the good of the team. 2 outs now, but a run scored. A's lead 1-0 here in the top half of the first inning. That was an excellent manufactured run. A double, a fielder's choice, and another fielder's choice, more like a sacrifice hit. So now the bases are empty. Kyle Dennis looking to drag his way on. Haley with a high fastball. Dennis all over that pitch, just missed it. Those high fastballs look so good because they're actually coming in at about eye level. When a ball comes in at eye level, the ball actually looks bigger than if it were to come in around knee level. Haley guns a fastball in there. I think he tried to put a little something extra on that one. Well, he reacts by swinging at a pitch that was over his head for strike 3. That ends the inning after a leadoff double. 3 straight outs and 2 fielders' choices leaves 1 run on the board. The A's lead 1-0 as we head into the bottom half of the first inning. And And we're back here at the bottom half of the first inning. Bones is pitching for the A's. He's going to be on the hill. More of a finesse pitcher than a power pitcher. We'll see how that plays out with the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks leading off today is Marcus Raimondi, followed by Blake Wolf, Ryan Haley, Ryan Carden, Sean Fagan, Steven Moser, Ian Jason, Kevin Dixon, Jack Leahy, Ross Fletterjohn, Ray Toda, Grant Collins. First pitch floats in there for a ball. Raimondi lays off it. Raimondi has a nice even stance. Weight distribution is perfect in there. Sits back. Good quick hands, and he drives the ball into left field. A good leadoff single for Marcus Raimondi.
Next up, number 9, Blake Wolf.
Hitting in the 2-hole today is Blake Wolf. Wolf, a pretty good contact hitter. We'll see if he can move Marcus Raimondi over to second base. Bones starts him out with a breaking ball that just misses low. Almost had Wolf fishing there on that low curveball. The speedy Raimondi on first base. We might keep an eye out for him. He might have an opportunity to go here. Another breaking ball just misses for ball 2. Bones with a third straight curveball. Looks like Blake Wolf almost leaned into that. So a hit by pitch advances Blake Wolf to first and Marcus Raimondi to second.
Next up, number 4, Ryan Haley.
Ryan Haley, the number 3 hitter, at bat for the Diamondbacks in the bottom half of the first inning. The speedy Raimondi over there on second. He takes off on a leadoff curveball. The stand-up stolen base. I think Raimondi was just looking at 4 straight curveballs from Bones and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to go. There's another off-speed pitch, just misses. Bones can't quite find the zone that I think he's used to getting here. We have Wolf on second base, Raimondi on third, 2 ducks on the pond, 2 runners in scoring position for their number 3 hitter, Ryan Haley. No outs here in the bottom half of the first inning. Right now, the Diamondbacks trail 1-0 to the A's, but are threatening to score here in the bottom half of the inning. There's a strike for Bones. And that's ball 4. Connor Bones having a little bit of trouble out there in the mound after a single, a hit batsman, and a walk. That loads the bases for their cleanup hitter, Ryan Carden. So Carden going over to the manager, Ken Moser, and had a little discussion. I think he was telling him may want to lay off the first pitch or two. Even though he is the cleanup hitter, he may just want to see what the pitcher has to offer here. A big swing and a miss. That's strike 1. Bones not even taking a look at Ryan Haley over at first base. Taking a big lead. And there's a big shot down the left field line, just foul. Well, Bones can chalk that one up to nothing but a long strike. Now, if he were smart, he'd throw something off speed here. We'll see what he chooses to throw. Bases are juiced here for Ryan Carden. Low and outside, I think he came back with a fastball. When a hitter's that far ahead of a pitch, you really have to think about coming in with something off speed. Just try and mix up speeds on him. Just like that, a little curveball up the middle. Tag in second, getting the force out at second base. But not before a run scores. So Ryan Carden with an RBI ends up on first, and a fielder's choice gets the runner at second. Ties the game up 1-1 for Sean Fagan. So runners at the corners for Sean Fagan. We have Ryan Carden at first and Blake Wolf at third. A first and third opportunity for the Diamondbacks with only one out. This is a great opportunity for the Diamondbacks to put together something kind of tricky where they send the runner on first and hope that there's a throw down to second. They have an out to give. And if that throw does go through all the way to the bag, it will leave an opportunity for Blake Wolf over on third to score. Looks like the catcher may have gotten hit by the ball on one of the last plays. Seeing if he can squat down and come up all right. He's just taking a breather there for a minute. This is the World Series game of the majors in Scripps Ranch, California. We're here at Steve Allen Field, and I'm Scott Hall with George Langevin Video Productions. We had kind of a rainy night, so the field probably is still a little bit damp. It has warmed up quite a bit in the last hour or so. But if that ball rolls a little too much in the outfield, it might get wet. And there's a shot down the right field line. That'll score at least one. As Ryan Carden heads over to third, and that's an RBI for Sean Fagan. Sean Fagan all over that pitch. Great hands, sat back on the off-speed pitch, let it come into his zone with good hands, led with the hands. The barrel followed and took the outside pitch to right field. That's textbook hitting by Sean Fagan. So it looks like they're going to make a pitching change. Looks like Bones is going to wind up going over to third base. Looks like Darren Critchlow will come in to pitch. Critchlow, a tall right-hander, has a pretty good fastball. And pretty good arm action as well. Tall, lanky guy. We'll see if he can pitch a little more strategically than Bones did. So far in the bottom half of the first inning, every hitter has reached base.
Number 11,
Steven Moser now steps into the box. Moser, a big guy, has a lot of power in his swing. Once again, we've got runners on first and third. Sean Fagan on first, Carden on third. And there's that first and third opportunity I was talking about moments ago. Fagan takes off and steals second base, no problem. In a situation like that, if they do wind up making a throw down to second, the runner on third usually scores pretty easily. So right now at a 2-1 ball game, Diamondbacks leading. I don't think the A's wanted to risk anything. They just let the runner take second. So 2 ducks on the pond for Steven Moser. A little chopper over to short. And it looks like they have Carden in a rundown, and nobody's there. Nobody was there, nobody at home. And Carden scores as he fools the A's defense. So Steven Moser with a little chopper to the shortstop. Shortstop did the right thing by checking the runner. As he ran over to the runner, the defense just got mixed up on how to get a guy in a rundown. So Moser with an RBI. Now Ian Jason steps to the plate. And a good fastball catches the low outside corner. Ian Jason couldn't quite pull the trigger on that. Got runners on first and second here in the bottom half of the first inning. Little chopper to the first base side. Not in time, he's safe. Wow, Ian Jason really showing off his wheels. Jason could not have planned that any better, that's for sure. Kevin Dixon steps in with the bases loaded. So far, Crishlow's thrown a lot of strikes, just hasn't had a lot of help from the defense. As that ball bounces about a foot in front of the plate. Kevin Dixon does not have the largest strike zone in the world. And a good bat to follow. So the outfield's playing pretty deep here on Kevin Dixon. The bases loaded. I'd imagine they would want to come in just a tad more to try and get the tag runner on third base. Crislow with a fastball, a chopper up the middle. Tags the runner advancing to third and overthrows to first.
Yeah, he got tagged.
So a run will score, making it 4-1 Diamondbacks. Stephen Moser got tagged out on his way to third. And Ian Jason ends up on second, Kevin Dixon on first. There's 2 outs here in the bottom half of the first inning. Diamondbacks still leading 4-1. Jack Leahy at bat. Leahy takes strike 1. I think Critchlow just needed a couple of pitches to get loose. Now he's really throwing that fastball hard, hitting some more spots. Good off-speed pitch, just missed high. It's tough to throw that pitch to such a tiny strike zone. I think at this point he needs to just worry about getting that fastball over. So he loops a curveball in. There's a fly ball to the left field. That'll score another run for the Diamondbacks. Ian Jason, the speedy Ian Jason, comes all the way around from second base as Jack Leahy gets a single. Somebody better put out this fire before things get really out of hand. I think the weight at this point is primarily on Crishlow's shoulders. So a pass ball and both runners advance. Now runners on second and third with 2 outs. Here in the bottom half of the first, Ross Fletterjohn at bat. So they're going to, it looks like they move those runners back to their original positions, first and second. So Fletterjohn, the lefty, just trying to get something happening here with 2 outs. A little punch shot over to the shortstop. And a great throw over to first. That'll end the inning. After a long and tumultuous first, the Diamondbacks lead 5-1. And we're back here in the top half of the second inning. Number 5, Connor Bones will lead off. He's their number 5 hitter. They scored 1 run in the first inning. We'll see if they can't put something together. They had a difficult time in the field last inning. It wasn't necessarily anything they did wrong. The Diamondbacks just started pounding the pitching. So Blake Wolf now takes the hill for the Diamondbacks. Wolf, the righty, has a pretty good fastball and decent arm action. Connor Bones fouls that pitch off, a little low and outside, just got a piece of it. A's trail 5-1. And Bones with a line shot to the first baseman. Unassisted, all by himself over there. So that'll be the first out of the inning. Number 10, Mark O'Neill now steps into the box. And O'Neill swings and misses at a high fastball. So important for that pitcher to get ahead in the count. So far, Wolf has done so pretty efficiently. Just misses low and inside. Evens up the count 1-1. And O'Neill with a high fly ball just past the second baseman as he grabs it with a nice play. Now Torben Pilke enters the box with 2 outs here in the top half of the first. Second baseman did a nice job of calling off the first baseman. First baseman has no business going out there catching that ball. So the second baseman did a great job. Looks like they practiced that one quite a bit this year. So the right fielder playing a little bit shallow out here, looking for that little blooper out to right field. And there it is. See if he can get in under that ball. Just misses. It looks like he wasn't in quite enough. So Pilke ends up with a double off a little blooper into right field. Sometimes those little punch and Judy shots really are effective. So Derek Ma now at bat with a runner on second in scoring position. Ma could really use a single right here and score the runner. He got 1 duck on the pond. Big swing by Ma. He was looking to drive that one to the fences. 2 outs, runner on second, Ma at bat. Wolf with the pitch, and Ma with a big swing and a miss. Wolf just missing that low outside corner. Really trying to paint the black on the plate. Wolf just barely missing on that outside half. So he tries for the inside half and just misses there as well. I think his coach is probably telling him, hey man, throw it somewhere in the middle. Derek Ma being very patient at the plate. And a pass ball, and there goes Pilke. Sliding into third, and he's safe on third. So with 2 outs, all Ma has to do is get the ball through the infield, and they'll score a run. They could really use it at this point as they're trailing 5-1 in the top half of the second. Big fastball and a big swing by Ma, staying alive by fouling that pitch off. Wolf with the pitch. Another fastball. This time Ma goes down swing for the 3rd out. No runs on 1 hit. After 2, the Diamondbacks still lead 5-1. Half of the second inning. Crislow still on the mound for the A's. Leading off for the Diamondbacks is Ray Tota. Crislow just misses with that fastball. Just gets by the catcher. It's so important for these pitchers to get ahead on that first and second pitch. Once they get ahead, they can really establish their strike zone and dominate the hitters. Looks like Crislow's having a little trouble getting that fastball over. Almost like he's aiming the ball instead of just rearing back and throwing it. Tota wisely stays off that high pitch. 3 balls and a strike to Tota. Crislow misses, ball 4. Tota leads off with a walk. They say that About 85% of walks score, and we'll see if that proves true as Grant Collins steps to the plate.
Grant Collins.
First pitch in there for a strike. Well, that's a good start for Critchlow. Just barely misses with the ball. Critchlow works very quickly. And we'll see if that helps out either the A's or the Diamondbacks here. A lot of times pitchers will work quickly when they get frustrated. Other times they'll work quickly just to kind of always try and get themselves in a rhythm or a zone, so to speak. So Toda off the second on a pass ball, stands in safely. Grant Collins doing his part, just sitting back and watching the runner move to second. Critchlow catches the outside black. That's strike two. Critchlow couldn't quite get a third strike over, so that's ball four. You got Collins on first, Toda on second. Now here comes the leadoff hitter, Marcus Raimondi. Raimondi had a single back in the first inning and a stolen base, along with a run scored. He was actually the first run scored of the game. Here comes Critchlow's pitch, breaking ball, just on the outside corner, catches it for a strike. Jams him. There's a ball hit to second. Over to shortstop. Chooses not to complete the double play. Got the first and most important out of that combination. That is the first out of the inning. So Marcus Raimondi hits into a fielder's choice.
Next up, number 9, Blake Wolf.
So Blake Wolf steps in, takes strike one. Once again, a first and third opportunity for the Diamondbacks. Last inning, they had this same opportunity, and it worked out very well for them. There goes the runner off to second, just kind of trotting down there, hoping to probe a throw from the catcher, but no throw is going to be made. So Raimondi ends up on second base after a pass ball. There's a little chopper to second. Runner on third scores, and Raimondi ends up on third. A fielder's choice for Blake Wolf. So that was a very well-manufactured run.
Ryan Haley.
A walk, a leadoff walk, which, as I mentioned, about 85% of those score actually did score this inning. And there's a strike to Ryan Haley. So the leadoff walk scored. Then with a couple of fielder's choice and walks, next thing you know, Ray Toda scores a run. They now take the lead 6-1 in the second inning. Critchlow just missing with that fastball on the outside half. Critchlow actually has a very good fastball, a nice smooth motion. He's just having trouble hitting that strike zone. He's just missing. He's not missing by much at all. Uh-oh, here comes Raimondi. In, slides in, steals home. That was a swinging third strike, so Ryan Haley ends up on first. Now hitting the cleanup hitter, Ryan Carden. There's one out here, bottom half of the second. 7-1, Diamondbacks lead. Looks like there's going to be a little bit of a discussion out there regarding exactly what happened. I think the umpire has to explain to the coach just exactly what went on there, where the pass ball and the runner scored. There's a swinging third strike, which allowed the runner the opportunity to advance to first if he wants to. But in order to do so, he has to actually beat a throw to first as if he had hit the ball into the infield. He did so, and there was no throw, so the runner on first is safe. Now what they're also doing here is checking to see if the runner on third tagged up and did not leave the bag until the pitch was actually thrown. And they did, and umpires agreed, said that he definitely waited till the pitch was thrown. So all is well in the land of the Diamondbacks as Ryan Carden steps into the box, takes ball one. Ryan Haley's over on first base trying to distract the pitcher and catcher. There's a line shot to the second baseman right off his toe. And Haley stops at second. I thought he was going to go to third for a moment, try and induce a throw, but Ryan Carden with a hot shot to the second baseman. Couldn't quite get a good glove on it. Now Sean Fagan enters. Fagan with a single and stolen base back in the first inning. Looks like there'll be a little conference on the mound. Critchlow having a little bit of trouble getting these guys out. Not necessarily his fault. He's doing everything that he can. He's getting ground balls and throwing strikes. But his defense seems like it's falling apart just a tad. They can't quite get the runners out here. So we got 2 outs here in the bottom half of the second inning. Sean Fagan is at bat. Got runners on first and second base. So after a quick conference, Critchlow takes the mound.
Number 3, Sean Fagan.
Well, they say nothing kills a rally more than a visit to the mound by the manager. So we'll see if that helps out Critchlow. Ryan Haley over there on second base dancing around trying to distract the pitcher and catcher. We'll see if that. And there goes Haley on a pass ball, slides into third base. And Ryan Carden advances as well to second base. Fagan actually has a really nice batting stance. He keeps his weight to the backside, keeps his hands close to his body, has a nice wide stance. That allows him to really sit back on off-speed pitches as he hits a chopper right past the second baseman. 1 run scores, 2 run scores. As Sean Fagan with a hard shot just past the second baseman and 2 RBIs. Diamondbacks really starting to take control of this game.
Next up, number 11, Stephen Moser.
Stephen Moser now at bat. Moser had a single back in the first inning. Now he comes up to bat with 2 outs and a runner on first. Moser takes strike 1. Critchlow gets ahead of this hitter. He could really use a ground ball right here or a pitcher's out like a strikeout. There's a chopper up the middle of the second. He chooses to just step on the bag and take it himself, but not before the Diamondbacks score 4 to make it 9-1 as we head into the third inning. So we're back in the top half of the third inning. Stephen Hilko at bat. Hilko watches ball 1 go by. Hilko actually looks like a real good leadoff hitter. Shorter guy, lefty, has a good short stance. Though he drops his hands just a little bit. We'll see if he hits a fly ball out of this. So far he's dropped his hands on both pitches. Occasionally that means that he's going to come under the ball. As he takes a ball in the high outside corner. So Ilko takes ball 4. A good leadoff man. Gets on base for Brad Latoy.
Number 6, Brad Latoy.
So Ilko on first base, looking like he's ready to steal. Those quick feet over there as he stutter steps off the bag. Keep an eye on, see if we can't keep an eye on Stephen Ilko. A big swing and a miss by Brad Latoy. So man on first, nobody out here in the top half of the 3rd inning. Big swing and a foul ball. Diamondbacks taking control of this game 9-1. Diamondbacks have just jumped all over the A's pitching. So Latoy stays alive with another foul ball. And Ilko just hanging out on first base. I think he's waiting for a pass ball. Some opportunity to get to second. Blake Wolf still on the mound for the Diamondbacks. Wolf doing a great job, did a fantastic job in the 2nd inning. Got 3 outs through 4 batters back in the 2nd. As he's struggling a little bit here, getting the ball over the plate, walks Stephen Ilko. He's falling behind a little bit on Brad Latoy. And there goes Ilko. Like I said, he was just waiting for that pass ball opportunity. Sure enough, he took advantage of it, ends up on second base. So we got a man on second with nobody out. At this point, Brad Latoy really just needs to get the ball into play, advance that runner over to third base, hit behind him, hit to the right side of the infield. Or do that. We'll take a ball. That's ball 4. So now we have runner on first and second with nobody out. This brings up Nick Alvarez. Alvarez wearing number 2. Hoping to score 2 runs here if he can get the ball to the outfield. The A's still trail 9-1 here in the World Series in Scripps Ranch, California. And Alvarez swings at a high fastball. That was almost over his head. With as many balls as Blake Wolf is throwing right now, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the take sign. There's a pass ball. Both runners advance now, second and third. Ilko on third, Latoy on second. Alvarez at bat has a chance for 2 RBIs with 2 ducks on the pond. Wolf with a strike, Alvarez swinging, no contact. Alvarez now falls behind with 2 strikes. A little chin music on Alvarez, knocks him down. That's a ball. Full count here to Alvarez. Wolf with the payoff pitch. Strike 3 gets him swinging. That's the first out of the inning. This brings up Kelly Coates.
Next up,
That's unfortunate for Nick Alvarez, as just a ground ball anywhere probably would have scored a run. The infield was playing back. And Kelly Coates is at bat. Kelly has the same opportunity with the runners, 2 runners in scoring position on second and third. The middle infield playing back. The corners are about even to the bag. First baseman playing back. He can just hit a ball to the left side of the infield and we'll score a run. So the big lefty Coates is at bat. Wolf mixing up his pitches just a little bit with some off-speed pitches and comes back with a fastball. Good change of pace that really helps to keep the batters off balance. Wolf comes back again with a fastball and a strike. The catcher isn't really helping out Wolf all that much. He seems to be dropping and batting down a couple of balls. The reason why that doesn't help is because the umpire sees him drop the ball. And a big swing and a miss by Kelly Coates. Now, as a catcher drops a ball, he actually moves his glove out of the strike zone. When he moves his glove out of the strike zone, the umpire actually thinks it was a ball. So Coates stays alive with another foul ball. And Wolf doing his best to keep throwing strikes over the heart of the plate. He has 1 out here and runners on second and third. 2 runners in scoring position. So Coates watches strike 3 go by, 2 outs, runners on second and third. Evan Critchlow, who had a leadoff double way back in the first inning, comes to bat. So I think the manager wants to come out and just give him a little reminder that this Critchlow brother had a double way back in the first. Just wants to reiterate that to him with the pitcher. Just say, hey, look, you know, you may want to pitch this guy a little more tough than you did in the first inning. With a runner on second base, he's definitely in scoring position. Critchlow watches the first ball go by. Gets ahead in the count. Now for a hitter, you love to be ahead in the count because you know that pitcher's got to come back with a strike. There's a deep fly ball to deep center field, and it's caught for the third out of the inning. So it's an unfortunate series of events for the A's, getting 2 runners on with 2 walks, and then getting 3 straight outs. No runs scored on no hits. The Diamondbacks still lead 9-1. Welcome back, folks, to the bottom half of the third inning. Leading off is Ian Jason, followed by Kevin Dixon, followed by Jack Leahy, who made that fantastic catch out in center field last inning. Critchlow still on the mound for the A's. Fires a fastball in there, just misses the outside corner. And a big swing and a miss for Ian Jason. Jason had a single back in the first inning. Ended up scoring, actually scored the 5th run of that inning before Ross Fletterjohn hit into a 6-3 out. Another swing and a miss, and that's strike 3 for Ian Jason. He goes down swinging. Tell you what, if you're going to go down, you may as well go down swinging, right? Now coming up, Kevin Dixon. Dixon hit into a fielder's choice and actually got an RBI back in the first. Nobody on and 1 out for Critchlow. Fires a fastball in there. Looks like Critchlow really has gotten loose now. His fastball is probably about 5 miles an hour faster than it was in the first inning. Fires another one in there. Just can't seem to hit the plate. He is right around the black. Can't quite catch a strike in there. You see how fast his fastball really is as the hitters are just barely swinging with their hands, fouling a lot of pitches off. That means that the pitcher's really throwing hard. So Kevin Dixon just barely catches a piece of that for his first strike. Critchlow misses, and that's ball 4. So with 1 out, Dixon on first. This brings up Jack Leahy.
Jack Leahy.
Leahy with a swing and a foul ball. Just caught a piece of that. It sounded like it was off the end of the bat. Just a little out front on that pitch, I guess. Leahy with quick hands, sitting in the back of the box. Critchlow fires a strike in there. One of the reasons why a lot of hitters sit in the back of the box is because it gives them that little extra time, maybe that 1/100th of a second that allows them to get their hands through on a hard fastball. You get a pitcher like Critchlow on the hill who really throws very hard. You'll see a lot of hitters actually scratch out the backside of the box with their back foot. As Critchlow throws a little chin music, Leahy goes down, and there goes Kevin Dixon over to second base. I don't know if that was a message to Leahy saying, I can't believe you caught that ball last inning out in center or what, but he fired that one about a foot over his head. And there goes Dixon over to third. A throw, but no play over at third. So now Dixon on third with 1 out. Jack Leahy at bat.
Ross Fletterjohn.
Actually, he called that a strike, so Leahy goes down swinging. Ross Fletterjohn, who grounded out to end the first inning, steps to bat. Critchlow finding his zone. Boy, he has really gotten into a good rhythm. He works quickly, works efficiently, and he's really starting to throw some strikes. And when he misses, he's not missing by much. Just missing the corners. There's another great strike by Critchlow. Ross Fletterjohn way behind that fastball. Critchlow just needs to keep pumping that fastball in there on him, and he does. That's strike 3. That ends the inning for the third out. No runs on no hits. They did advance a runner to third base on a couple of passed balls, but folks, I think the A's are starting to come around here. Critchlow's doing a great job on the mound. We'll come back with the A's at bat next inning. Right now, the Diamondbacks still lead 9-1. Welcome back, folks, to Steve Allen Field. We're here at Jarrah Beck Park in Scripps Ranch, California on Scott Hall for George Langevin Video Productions. We're here at the Majors World Series, and the Diamondbacks are leading with a hefty lead of 9-1. There's a new pitcher for the Diamondbacks. Looks like Sean Fagan's on the mound. Right now, Matt Maguda at plate. He's their number 2 hitter on the A's lineup. He hit into a fielder's choice back in the first inning. You can tell there's been some good pitching on the Diamondbacks' behalf because this is Maguda's second at bat. There's a high fly ball. Pitcher Fagan comes over and makes the catch. Technically, that's not really Fagan's ball. That should be the first baseman's ball, but hey, an out is an out and a catch is a catch, and I think they'll be satisfied with that. So with one down in the top of the 4th inning, Darren Critchlow comes to bat. Critchlow sits back on that off-speed pitch. Hits a rocket to short. Short can't quite make the play from his knees, but a valiant effort. We'll mark that as a single in the scorebook for sure, as I don't think the shortstop could have even thrown him out, as Critchlow actually has some pretty good wheels underneath him. This brings up Kyle Dennis. Like Fagan tried an off-speed pitch. As a lefty, you have a little bit of an advantage as a pitcher. For some reason, the ball just seems to tail a little bit more. And there's a line shot to short, and they tried to double up Critchlow over at first, but unsuccessful. So Kyle Dennis actually makes very good contact. Just the art of baseball is hitting them where they ain't. And unfortunately for Kyle Dennis, he hit it right where the shortstop was. So Darren Critchlow remains at first base. This brings up Connor Bones. Bones with a little line drive, ground ball, brings the first baseman off the bag. No run scored. The Diamondbacks still lead 9-1.
10, Ray Toda.
Welcome back, folks, to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Leading off is Ray Toda, followed by Grant Collins, and then the leadoff hitter, Marcus Raimondi. Toda squaring around a drag bunt, the infield converging. Another drag bunt attempt. Critchlow putting up his arms like, hey, where was that pitch? Trying to talk the umpire into a strike. Now with a right-handed hitter, I think what Toda's looking for here is to bunt the ball down the third base line. The right-handed pitcher actually falls off to the first base side, and they have the first baseman crashing. Looks like the catcher got injured on that last play. So we'll take a break momentarily and find out exactly what's going on. Oh, we're back after the short injury timeout. It appears appeared that the catcher had turned his body slightly to the right on that last pitch that was in the dirt. The ball bounced up, caught him on the square side of the knee. And boy, that is painful when you get hit with a ball in the knee. That's one of the worst injuries a catcher can get. And the shin guards only cover the front side of the leg, so as soon as you turn your body, it opens up your flesh to an open shot with no protection. So they bring in their backup catcher, and Toto once again squares around a bunt. Critchlow can't quite find that strike zone. And Tota, I think he's just going to stick with this bunt. I don't know if he's fake bunting or if he's really trying to, but whatever he's doing, he's fooling Critchlow, because Critchlow now all of a sudden can't throw a strike. Tota squares around and pulls back immediately. I think he's just out there showing a bunt, and he's not really swinging. So now I believe he's got 2 strikes on him. He should be swinging here. And he watches strike 3 go by. So Tota's the first out of the 4th inning. This brings up Grant Collins. Collins walked back in the 2nd inning.
Grant Collins.
So Collins trying to bunt as well. I believe he went for that bunt, so that'll be a strike. Kind of surprised that he actually offered that, because the ball was about helmet high. Critchlow fires in strike 2. Critchlow really getting loose now. His fastball is a good 5 to 7 miles an hour faster than it was back in the 2nd inning. He's really lengthening his stride, and his arm action has gotten very smooth. So 2 strikes on Collins. And there's strike 3. Collins goes down looking. That's 2 outs here in the bottom half of the 4th. Now hitting Marcus Raimondi, the Diamondbacks leadoff hitter. So since the rough 2nd inning, really, Evan Critchlow has shut down the Diamondbacks 3 and 4 hitters in a row in each inning. He's starting to really find his zone. And the Diamondbacks have some tough hitters. Marcus Raimondi, really quick hands, sits way back in the box, keeps his weight back. This guy should be able to hit just about anything. Critchlow fires a high fastball in there. Raimondi swings wildly at it. Raimondi had 2 singles in the 1st and the 2nd inning. And Raimondi goes down swinging. So with 3 strikeouts that inning, looks like Critchlow is racking up about 8 strikeouts so far through 3 innings. He's done a heck of a job on the mound. They just need to get their bats going. At the end of 4 innings, Diamondbacks still lead 9-1. We'll be right back, folks. Welcome back to the top half of the 5th inning. We have a new pitcher for the Diamondbacks, number 2, Marcus Raimondi. Raimondi, a finesse pitcher, we'd like to say, with a couple of different pitches in his repertoire. Starts him out with a fastball on the outside corner, just misses. Mark O'Neill at bat for the A's. O'Neill hit a fly ball to the pitcher back in the 2nd inning. So Raimondi with the pitch. Like an off-speed pitch, high and inside, and O'Neill swung, just got a piece of it. So Raimondi takes his time, settles into the mound, gets his signal. There's a pitch, an off-speed, Like a curveball lone in the dirt. O'Neill takes that off-speed pitch inside for a ball. Looks like Raimondi's fooling around a little bit with him. See if he can come back here with a strike. Throws a fastball on the inside half. Foul ball by O'Neill. 2 strikes on him now. He should be protecting the plate at this point. Whenever you have 2 strikes on you, you really want to protect that plate. Swing at anything that's close. You don't want to get called out on a 3rd strike. Big curveball in the dirt. As he goes down on strikes, O'Neill is the first out of the inning. Now hitting Torben Pilke. Pilke had a double back in the 2nd.
Next up, number 3, Torben Pilke.
Pilke has 1 of the 2 hits. Both hits, believe it or not, are doubles for the A's. The A's really haven't had much going on for them since the 1st inning. Here we are in the 5th now. So you can see how effective the Diamondbacks pitching has been as Pilke hits a chopper back to the pitcher. And that's an easy 1-3 out. This brings up Derek Ma.
Next up, number 7, Derek Ma.
Derek Ma struck out back in the 2nd. 2 outs here, nobody on. And a 9-1 lead by the Diamondbacks. This is Scott Hall for George Langevin Video Productions. And we are cruising along here at Steve Allen Field. Here in the Majors World Series. And there's a hot shot out to shallow right field. Couldn't quite make the grab, so Ma ends up on first base. So Grant Collins with a very valiant attempt. Almost had a ESPN highlight out there with a diving catch, but just barely missed it. So Derek Mines up on first with 2 outs. Stephen Ilko at bat. Ilko, the speedy lefty, and Ma, he's got some pretty good wheels on first base. We got to keep an eye on Ma for any pass balls. He could easily advance out of second. And there he goes. He's off. As he stands up after a stolen base. Pass ball. Ilko now has a chance for an RBI, a runner in scoring position. Raimondi floats an off-speed pitch in there. Just misses low. He doesn't have a very big strike zone to work with here on Stephen Ilko. Once again, Ma on second base, looking for every opportunity to advance. You gotta love seeing aggressive players like that who, on every pitch, they're jumping off the bag, looking to get to that extra base. That's really what baseball players are really all about. There goes Ma again, looking for every opportunity. At this point, the A's need to put 1 or 2 runs on a board here just to get something going. As that's ball 4, Ilko winds up on first base. Ma stays on second, and Brad Latoy enters the batter's box. Latoy walked back in the 3rd inning. 2 outs here, still trailing 9-1 in the 5th. Raimondi fires ball 1 in there. There's a little hot shot down the 3rd base line. And he's safe over at first. All runners advance. You got the bases loaded here with 2 outs in the 5th inning. There was really nothing that Kevin Dixon on 3rd could have done with that. It was almost like a drag, but it was like a swinging bunt, we call it sometimes. Now Nick Alvarez steps into the box with 2 outs and the bases loaded. Takes strike 1. Has a great opportunity to put a run on the board here. It needs to get a ball through the infield. The infield playing about halfway. I'm kind of surprised with 2 outs. All they really need is 1 more out. Yet they have the infield playing in. They don't really need to get a force out at home. They really could be playing back and just go for the force out at first. And here comes a shot down the line right at us in the booth. Off the fence. Nothing but a hard strike. So Raimondi gets ahead of Alvarez with 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases juice, 3 ducks on the pond. And a big swinging 3rd strike. I think he got a piece of that. Foul ball, so that's strike 2 still. Alvarez hanging in there. Here's a pitch from Raimondi. A curveball that's shot into center field. A line drive, that'll score 1. Looking to score 2 as they do. And Alvarez comes through big time for the A's. 2-run score. Now it's 9-3 in the 5th inning.
Up to bat number 8, Kelly Coates.
So Kelly Coates comes up to bat with 2 outs. Runners on 1st and 2nd. There's a ground ball to the left side. Raimondi having some trouble with it. Bobbled it for a minute, and it's safe all around. So all the runners advance. Once again, we've got the bases loaded for the A's. And now the leadoff hitter, Evan Critchlow, comes to bat. Critchlow had a deep fly ball back in the 3rd inning. He put that ball about 10 feet from the fence and had a double in the 2nd. If he can come through here, he could actually make this a close ball game in the 5th. Umpire says play ball. Here comes Raimondi with the pitch. It's a hot shot over to 3rd. He grabs it, tags the base for the force out, ends the inning just like that. The rally is gone. So with 2 runs on 3 hits, 2 runs on 3 hits in the 5th, the Diamondbacks still lead 9-3. We'll be right back, folks. Stay with us. Welcome back to the bottom of the 5th inning here of the Majors World Series at Steve Allen Field in Jarabek Park. Critchlow still on the mound, fires a fastball in there to Blake Wolf. Wolf, who spent a couple of innings on the mound, did an excellent job. Critchlow fires in a strike. So a 1-1 count to Wolf. Critchlow really loose now. He is really firing good pitches in there, firing in strikes. Looks like Blake Wolf took a check swing and fouled that pitch off. So now Critchlow's ahead, 1-2. Blake Wolf was hit by a pitch back in the 1st inning, wound up scoring a run. There's another foul ball. Wolf couldn't quite get around on that fastball by Critchlow. At this point, Critchlow's got to see that. He should stay with that fastball. No need fooling around with anything off speed. The hitter can't catch up to the fastball. Stay with it. Jam him inside on a hard fastball, and he should be able to get him right here. And he tried a fastball, just missed. Evens up the count, 2-2. Critchlow with a fastball. That's strike 3, caught him looking. So 1 out in the bottom half of the 5th. Ryan Haley comes to the plate. Haley walked in the 1st, actually struck out swinging in the 2nd, but it was a pass ball, a drop ball by the catcher, so he ran to 1st and was safe. Ended up scoring a run that inning after that strikeout advance to 1st. Critchlow really looking good right now, firing that fastball in there. At this point, he should just stick with that fastball. No need to fool around with anything else. These hitters can't touch it. Critchlow fires in a strike. So a foul ball into the stands, that's a souvenir for somebody. Once again, the hitter can't quite get the hands around on a Critchlow fastball. When he sees that, he just needs to jam him inside. There it is, that inside fastball. Critchlow gets him swinging for the second out of the inning. Now hitting Ryan Carden.
At the bat, number 12, Ryan Carden.
So Carden takes ball one. Critchlow really looking good now. Hitting spots, moving the ball inside, outside. A great swing by Carden. Stayed back on that pitch. When a ball gets fouled back directly behind you, it means you're right on top of your timing. You're right on top of that pitch. You just missed it maybe by 1/8 of an inch. Critchlow painting the black on the outside. He really wanted that pitch. Didn't quite get it though, so a ball is called and Ryan Carden steps back in. Critchlow trying to get fancy with something off speed. Missed that plate by about 3 feet. There's a fastball. A hot shot just past the shortstop. That ball is rolling all the way to the fence. The outfielder doing an excellent job of hitting the cutoff man. That's how it's done, folks. That's textbook baseball. So Carden comes up big with a double with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Sean Fagan comes to bat, had a single and a run scored along with a stolen base back in the 1st. 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Sitting on second base is Ryan Carden.
Come on, Sean, you can do it! Bring Ryan home!
Critchlow with a pass ball. Carden heads over to third. And he's safe on third. A good throw from the catcher, just not quite in time.
Sean, come on, buddy. Get that bat around.
It looked like Ryan Carden that last at bat. Almost looked like he knew what was coming. And that's strike 3. Caught Sean Fagan looking. That's the 3rd out of the inning. So no runs on 1 hit. Diamondbacks still lead after 5 complete. It's 9-3. Welcome back to the top half of the 6th inning here. In the Majors World Series, we've had some great plays out here by all of the outfielders on both teams, the Diamondbacks and the A's. As action continues, as the A's, Magada leads off. Matt Magada actually flew out to the pitcher and had a fielder's choice back in the 1st inning. Magada, the speedy lefty, takes a ball. Now the A's really need to put together a big rally here. They need 6 runs in order to keep this game going. Raimondi still on the mound for the Diamondbacks. The crafty right-hander has a pretty good repertoire of pitches. And so far today, he's been able to get most of those pitches over. So Magada with a hot shot right over the pitcher's head and an excellent play. Holy smokes, Ryan Haley makes a nice play at shortstop, just gets him out by a step. That was a bang-bang play. Magada not quite fast enough to get there. So with one out, Darren Crislow comes to bat. Crislow had a single back in the fourth. A fielder's choice way back in the first inning, which was about an hour and a half ago.
Be ready, D-backs!
Raimondi fires a fastball in there. That's a little blooper out into right field. It gets in. Look out, Crislow's heading to second. No throw. So Crislow now sees a pass ball. Now he heads over to third base. That's a heads-up play by Darren Crislow. That was a very admirable at-bat. What happened there was as soon as he hit that ball, he didn't hesitate 1 second. He took out running, took out of that box, came out running full speed. That's the only way he was able to get to second unscathed. Then a heads-up play advancing to third, just watching the infielders throw the ball around. So now Crislow's on third. We have Dennis Kyle at bat. Kyle struck out back in the first and hit a fly ball to the shortstop in the fourth. Dennis with a chopper over to third. I'm surprised the runner isn't going on third. Gets him at first. That's a second out of the inning.
That's the bat, number 5, Connor Bones.
So Ryan Haley over at short, proving that he can play shortstop as good as anybody out there. Connor Bones stepping to the plate with a runner on third and 2 outs. Raimondi fires a fastball in there high. Connor Bones didn't quite check him on that, so he gets ahead of Raimondi. Raimondi fires a curveball in there, low and outside. So 2 balls and a strike to Connor Bones. Way ahead in the count, runner on third with 2 outs here in the top half of the 6th inning. Three balls and a strike. Actually, the catcher dropped that ball. It looked like a pretty good pitch, but he dropped the ball, and it makes it really difficult for the umpire to call it a strike when the catcher drops the ball. So that's ball 4. Bones is on with a walk. So we got runners at the corners here, first and third. Mark O'Neill coming to bat. O'Neill with a big stick could really use one now. Runners on first and third, and a line shot to the second baseman. Keeps it in front of him, flicks it over to first, and he's safe at first. A run scores. I have to tell you, that was a beautiful play by the second baseman. I know he didn't get the guy out, but boy, he kept his body in front of the ball. And I mean, if you're watching at home, folks, that's really a textbook way to field a ground ball. He kept his butt low, his glove out in front. The ball hit the heel of his glove and then his chest, and he kept the ball in front of him. If he moves out of the way of that, that ball's in the outfield, and 2 more runs would score. An excellent job by their second baseman. It's now hitting Torben Pilke. Pilke with a double way back in the second. And a high fly ball to second base. Jack Leahy is there. He catches it for the 3rd out. And folks, that's the game. Diamondbacks win the World Series 9-4. So the Diamondbacks are your winners. The A's put up a valiant effort. Unfortunately, the A's gave up 5 runs in the first and 4 in the second. And that's all they needed with those 2 innings of big runs. The Diamondbacks' bats came alive early, And that's all they needed was 9 runs through 2 innings, and that pretty much solidified the game for them. Diamondbacks pitchers did an excellent job today. And for the A's, I believe it was Derek Ma who started out the game, and then Crislow came in and closed it all out. Crislow actually pitched 5 innings of very good baseball. It took him a couple of innings to get loose, but his fastball really came through there at the end. But unfortunately, they gave up those 5 runs in the first, which made the difference in the game today. So the Diamondbacks are your winners here in the Majors World Series, 9-4. This has been a George Landsman video production, and I'm Scott Hall. Thank you for watching.
I'm just going to start handing out trophies. Well, I had some people to thank first, right? I got 3 great assistant coaches. First one's Rick Ramonde. Come on, guys. You got to clap for your coach. Steve Haley and Mike Jason. Without these guys, we don't get to practice in. They show up, they line the fields, they work on the mound. Nothing happens without these guys. No, Brian, you can't say one thing about your dad. But as we saw the score today, we got a really offensive team. We score 9-10 runs. You guys do a good job. They do a good job at batting practice, and they're really exciting to watch. So we're going to start handing out some trophies. Do I hand out the other? Okay.
So you can have your coaches now.
Yeah. The first guy in line, it was a battle in line, but the first guy that made it in line is Marcus Ramonde, and he finished the game for us. The second guy in line is Ryan Haley, one of our top pitchers. Ian Jason, one of our second basemen. We got 2 of every position, so this is one of our second basemen. They do a great job at second baseman. Here's our next second baseman, Jack Leahy. The most improved player on the team, Grant Collins. Kevin Dixon, I can use him in the outfield and at third base. Had Ray for 3 years, Ray Toda. Next up's my son, Stephen Moser. Next guy up is Ross Fletterjohn. He's a 6-inning catcher, but because of our offense, sometimes I only use him for 3. Next up, Blake Wolf, our third baseman and pitcher. Next up, Sean Fagan, first base. And last but not least, Ryan Carden, our cleanup hitter and outfielder. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations, guys. We had a great year. We'll see you next week for Tournament of Champions. And I got something for you after to celebrate. And with that, I'll turn it over to Gary.
Everybody give both teams a big round of applause. Both of these teams will go on to TOC, and by the looks of what I saw, they're both going to do well. Okay, good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Turn on, guys.
Zach. How about we Zach?
Right here.